Calvin Klein jeans.
Congratulations, you got your Tom. That was the hard part. Now you want to display the fan and beard in glorious fashion. That's the easy part. This piece of man cave art will serve as a conversation starter, where you ask your friends, "Did I ever tell you about this hunt?" And before they can say yes, you will be well on your way to chronicling the epic tale of how you became known as the Turkey King. So skip the taxidermy shop and let me show you in detail how to properly prep and mount a turkey fan and beard combo. So gather up some gloves, a sharp knife, some pins, a box of borax or drying agent, a pair of scissors, a piece of cardboard, and a turkey fan mounting kit. And let's get started.
Alright, so you've got your turkey and you've got your turkey fan. If you don't know how to take the fan off the body, I have another video where I explain how to disassemble the entire bird as well as taking off the fan. So the first thing you need to do is turn the turkey fan around, and that's the back side of the turkey. We're going to take off the butt feathers, if you will. They're pretty easy to take off. You can kind of see the feather line here. You're basically just going to cut right along to take these off. You could leave them on. They're just going to kind of get in the way when you're trying to pinch the fan down on the plaque that you're going to get. There you go. All the butt feathers are off. You see you get quite a bit of meat on the back side and on the front. And what you can do from here, you could just put borax on it and it'll probably take you 2 months for it to dry out, but we're gonna clean this meat off. Some guys will really clean it off to the point where they're getting in between the main feathers, especially if you're using like auto body repair stuff where you use just Bondo, you really wanna clean it out well. All right, so now we're just gonna clean off this meat, okay? Take your knife. I'm just gonna use this knife for now. Fillet knife can work pretty good as well. And you're just shaving down as much meat as you can. Some of it will come off in chunks. But if you see it, cut it off. We're starting to expose kind of the back side of the feathers. This is all just kind of that fatty tissue, and that's kind of what you want. The more meat you get off, the better. The quicker this thing's going to be ready. You don't have to be a taxidermist to do this, but I'm sure it helps. Now we're going to want to flip it over and start working on the front side. You can kind of see kind of a layer of skin here, kind of fascia right through here in the skin. You have that on both sides. There's some feathers on here, but what we're going to want to do is basically fillet that back to open up to expose that meat before we kind of carve it off. I don't want to get too far up into these feathers because I want to save these. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to start carving off this meat. I'm just going to pull some of this back first. And then we're going to cut this tailbone. This knob here, we're going to want to cut that. Come on. Yes. Strong tailbone. All right. And you can also use like a wire brush to kind of brush everything off. Typically I just use the back end, or I just use my knife to kind of scrape it off. All right, so that fan spreads really easy. We've got it cleaned up fairly well, definitely enough for the borax to do its work and dry everything out. So there's the front and then there's the back, okay? I might do a little bit more scraping on the back side, but I'm gonna finish cleaning this up and then I'll show you how to pin this to the board. All right, now that you get your fan all cleaned off, super flexible, you can pretty much do anything with it. With all that meat on there, it's pretty hard to maneuver it. It can be done, but the better you clean it off, snap those tail bones off, and you can open it up pretty well. Gonna need your pins. Initially, we're just gonna tack the main part right to the board. There's times where I'll actually put some backing on the backside just so we can hold it a little bit better. So I always kind of start by just taking the bottom two feathers. And I'm trying to create, basically getting this, or opening up all the way across. So I'm just gonna draw these down and drop one pin in. I can always maneuver it later. And then drop this one probably through there, okay? You're just pulling, pinning. Now I just kind of estimate it the first time here and you pull it over. The more pins you put in it, the better it's gonna hold. You might have to readjust some pins as you go along too, just to get the look that you want. You see in some of them, maybe you don't pull them over as far as you want to. So that's kind of the gist of the main frame of it. Typically I'll put the borax on and then I'll come back a day or two later and just kind of reposition things if I need to. Even tomorrow, really, kind of make it perfect. You want to position these feathers, again, however you want them to look, evenly spread out. Using the pin to kind of just lift and get these things in place is kind of the best way to do it. Same thing with this row of pin feathers. Just separate and get all those cool colors in there. All right, so everything's kind of positioned almost exactly how you want it. Again, come back the next day, repin things if you need to, shift things around, but you want to kind of create this basic frame. I'm just going to open it up here and apply a liberal amount. Kind of really want to work it in there. Again, you can always reapply if you don't want this thing stinking in your house, in your basement, or in your garage. Right, so that's kind of the basics of kind of getting the entire frame of the turkey fan and pinning it to the cardboard. We're gonna come back in a couple of weeks and actually put it on a plaque. All right, it's been probably 4 weeks. I got a haircut, trimmed my beard. Things are getting back to normal in the Corona world, somewhat. Gotta wear a mask everywhere, but things are getting a little bit back to normal. But the turkey fan has dried out. It is pressed very nicely. It's pretty much laid flat. I had a large weight in the middle of it to just make sure it flattened out. Today we're gonna put it on a plaque. Really simple to do. You can get any type of plaque, really. Order them online, anywhere you want to get them. So the one I'm using today is from Walnut Hollow Country. It's in Dodgeville, Wisconsin. I pretty much use this plaque for everything. I'll leave a link in the description below for this specific type of plaque. I've done ones with this plaque in the past. It turned out really nice. It's really easy to put together. It's basically 2 screws, and then it's got an option that you can put on the back of the plate here to hang it on the wall. I'm actually going to do some stacked fans with mine, with all the fans that I've got. So this is going to be the bottom piece, and then I'm going to stack fans behind it. But today we'll put this one together singular, and then we'll put the beard on it as well. I'm actually going to get the screws started on the back side. Maybe a little bit easier that way. you need is a screwdriver, and I'm just going to go until I start to feel them poke out. I'm going to turn the fan around, sneak it in on the other side. And we're just going to tighten it down just a little bit more, but not all the way. You don't want to tighten it up all the way yet. So once you've tightened these down just to the point where they're starting to pull the boards together, what I typically like to do is cut up cardboard, put 3 or 4 pieces on the back side. I don't like to glue the fan to the board just in case I want to do something else with the display later on. It stays in there snug, especially when you hang it on the wall, but you can always adjust it side to side if needed. So there's just a tiny little bit of play, but nothing that's ever going to move when it's hanging up on the wall. Once you get those tucked in, then you can go ahead and finish tightening up everything. It's just going to pull everything together. There you go. So there's the fan. Now it's actually easier for you if you take your beard and either use some hot glue, some JB Weld, to glue it to the board prior to putting everything together. But I actually have a separate beard display on a plaque that I've just got them across on a line. So I'm going to save this. I'm just going to put some tape on the back side to put it on here to kind of show you the final product. But otherwise you would put the beard on prior to. So here it is, the final product. Once you clean a fan off one time, it is not that difficult to do. You get better at it each and every time. There's really no reason why you have to take a fan to a taxidermist to do something like this for you. No offense to taxidermists, they do much more difficult things than this, and probably this is going to bog them down. It's a kit that's fairly cheap and something that creates something really beautiful that you can hang either in your house, in your man cave, or in your hunting shack for many years to come.